Drivetime Radio with New York Vinnie.
City of Seattle, where there is actually sunlight outside. If you can imagine that, actual beautiful sunlight. As let's see, we are now having sundown after 5 o'clock and sun up before 8 o'clock. So that is a beautiful thing. Welcome to Drivetime Radio. I'm New York Vinnie. Every week we meet here at 8 o'clock and talk about stuff automotive. What you're driving, what you want to drive, what you have driven, what you like to look at. So many different topics that we hit on this show. We also give you every week a cartoon, which is our Saturday morning cartoon, a piece of music that's written about or by a car enthusiast or about cars or motorcycles or whatever. We'll have that a little later for you. Neil Young will be our artist this morning. And we will also take a look at our road test. One that I have was just, you couldn't get me out of this thing, the Ford Maverick pickup truck, which, by the way, Ford earlier this week sent a memo to their dealer saying we're stopping production. We can't fulfill the orders that we have for these trucks. That's how popular they are. It is probably the most popular truck debut in years. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, Tesla announced this week that the Cybertruck, not until, wait a while for that. We have other things we're thinking about. We're too busy launching vehicles into space to think about the truck that we took your money for, that we took your deposit for, that we said this weird looking little truck. And for my money, be honest with you, if they never make that ugly looking thing, it's okay with me. I mean, I know it's radical and different in design, but it's too, I don't know. It just doesn't do much for me. But I don't know. There's Tesla people out there that are like, it's like a church. They worship at the altar of Musk, which I guess probably smells pretty good, if nothing else. But Tesla announcing that that and one of their other cars will not going to see the light of day for at least another year, maybe even more. So that 2022, if you cleaned out that space in your garage for that 2022 Cybertruck, you might want to think about putting something else in there until that Cybertruck comes out of an assembly line. And we see that, because I don't know that we're going to see that anytime soon. Thank you again to the people at Shoreline Cars and Coffee. We were out there last weekend. I don't know if you saw the show. If not, it's on YouTube. It's on Facebook here. And of course, our podcast. Great group of people. It was great to have Lance on the show with us to talk about classic cars and the car show circuit this upcoming year, with COVID hopefully subsiding here in Washington. I mean, it hasn't yet, but with COVID hopefully subsiding and more people getting vaccinated, maybe we'll be able to have a car show season where we get close enough to each other to talk. But it was a great event. If you want to see some just absolutely groovy cars this morning, head on down there. It's right at where the Central Market is, and you split off to go to Ballard off of Highway 99 off Aurora Avenue. I think it's 170 something street. But it's just it's a gathering of car people. A gathering of people that love cars. They love to look at them. They love to see the old ones. They love the new ones too. I mean, there were people there with Hondas and different great cars that are considered hot rods now show up there as well. So you have a nice variety of different vehicles that are there for you to look at and talk to the owners about. Maybe, sorry, I got a new chair here, and I still have to get my butt kind of, situated in the chair. But it's a great place for people who want to learn about the sports, about the hobby. It's a great place to take your kids. if they want to learn about cars. And, I suspect that I didn't see any electric cars there, but I'm thinking somewhere, sometime pretty soon, you will see, electric cars showing up at these things too. And it's just a good place to go on a Saturday morning, talk to people. We need more events where people get together and don't talk politics. Don't worry, this guy's a that, this guy's a this. Just talk about something that has nothing to do with politics. Stay away from it. Just meet each other on the terms of the activity that you're doing. Just a little preachy there for you. By the way, did you happen to see the action in Pittsburgh yesterday? A bridge in Frick Park, and not that old of a bridge, but a bridge in Frick Park, which is Pittsburgh's largest park, collapsed with a bus and a number of cars on it. 10 people were injured. Thank God nobody was killed. The first responders, congratulations to them, did what they do, and that is drop down into the twisted mess that was the collapsed bridge and pull the people out of the bus and out of their cars that were on the bridge. And it happened at 6:45 in the morning. And I happen to know that roadway and that intersection. It goes over Fern Gully in Frick Park. And thank God that it wasn't a little while later, 15, 20 minutes later, because it's a major shortcut to get to Squirrel Hill, which is a section of Pittsburgh, and to downtown Pittsburgh along Forbes Avenue. And it would have been, it was a disaster anyway, but it really would have been an incredible disaster resulting in death and much more injury had it happened a little bit later. But it didn't, thank God of that. And the odd thing about it was that President Biden was scheduled to visit there in, 3 or 4 hours after it happened. And I guess once they found out that nobody was seriously injured, that nobody had died, the president went ahead and went to Pittsburgh and actually went and visited the first responders and the site where everything happened. And yeah, did it play into his idea of Build Back Better? Yeah, but you know what? The guy is right. We need to we need to address the number of bridges, the number of tunnels, the number of different things that we drive on. We've seen it here, right? There's been bridge collapses up on I-5. There's been, any number of infrastructure problems here. And those problems need to be addressed for our safety. You can't have people not feeling comfortable going over bridges, thinking that they're going to collapse. You can't have that. And I'm not talking about just the main big bridges, but I'm talking about these, small bridges that go in a neighborhood, that go over a gully, or these small bridges. These all need to be looked at and to be upgraded and to be fixed. And I know it's going to be a huge bill, but we have to invest in this infrastructure, not just for us, but for our kids. You don't want your long after you're gone, your kid to be going over some bridge and the thing collapses. So, it's not a political thing. It's just a fact of life that these structures that we have built in this country. I always contend that Pittsburgh and Seattle are two very similar cities. There's the topography is somewhat similar. They're a city of bridges. I think Pittsburgh has the most bridges of any city. And Seattle has a ton of drawbridges, different bridges that, you have to go through town to get places. Same thing with Seattle. So there's a lot of, a lot of similarity between the two. And I hope that our leaders, or the people that are in charge of these things, take a look at what happened in Pittsburgh yesterday and say, we need to do better here. We need to make sure that these bridges are okay. We need to make sure that they withstand earthquakes. We need to make sure that they're just not going to fall down. And I don't know how exactly you determine that or how much money it's going to take, but it's got to be done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's got to happen. You can't have a situation where people, again, are afraid to drive over a bridge. That's part of what the government's supposed to give you, that security. Toyota this week made some news as they came out with their new 2023 Sequoia, which is their big SUV. I don't know the last time I've seen one. It's been 2 years since I've driven one. But it is radically redesigned. It is a huge machine. I mean, this thing is just honking big. And you can see the picture there. I mean, it is meaty, beefy, big, and bouncy. And in a time when people are looking for maybe something a little bit smaller, the Sequoia makes no bones about it being big. And, the big pop of the showstopper, 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque out of the V6 I-Force Max powertrain. It has, the V6, a motor in between the tranny and the engine to help things along. And then the transmission, I think they put the 8-speed in that thing. And it's just absolutely a monster truck. It'll tow up to 9,000 pounds. It'll seat, it's a 3-row SUV, and 3 will fit in there. So you had 2, 3, and 3 will fit in there comfortably. And as I said, I drove one the year before last, and they don't change much. This is a huge change for the Sequoia. As a matter of fact, I'm a little shocked that they even continue to build this vehicle, because you don't see a lot of them out there. For some reason, when people go and buy these vehicles, they buy Ford, they buy Chevy. And, now people are starting to buy, now that Kia's come out with a big full size in Hyundai. They look at those, some Nissan you see, but you don't see a ton of these because Ford and Chevy seem to have the market cornered on this. But yet, when I drove the Sequoia, I thought it was an excellent vehicle. It gave you power. It was luxurious inside. And I'm sorry, it's the 10-speed that goes in the Sequoia, not the 8-speed. And again, you can get it in 2-wheel drive. It has a bunch of grades. You can build this thing almost any way you want to. And it is a honking big vehicle. And, body on frame, uses the Tundra frame and everything. And it, again, full-size SUVs have to do a lot of work. I mean, they have to be family haulers. You got to take the kids to school, and you got to be able to tow your boat, your trailer, whatever you put on the back of this thing. And the Sequoia looks like it'll do it. They have a new thing called Drive Mode Select that they're putting in this thing, which will adjust the engine and the torque and everything else to what you're doing. And again, I'll be very, very interested in getting my hands on one of these. I loved the one that I drove. Again, I wondered, who's buying it, but I loved the one I drove, and that to me was excellent. An excellent full-size truck. Now, J.D. Power is out with a survey about electric vehicles. We often talk about electric vehicles on this show, and there's more electric. It'll make your head swim how many electric vehicles you're going to see this year. I mean, really, I hope they get this building, this infrastructure to charge these things going quick, because people are buying them. I mean, you can't buy a Mustang. You can't buy a the Kona, the Hyundai Kona. I mean, they're almost impossible to get. The Mustang, like I said, the Mustang, all of these electric vehicles, people are snapping them up. High end, low end, whatever end it is, people are snapping them up. Now, satisfaction among first-time battery electric vehicle owners, very high on service experience, very high on driving enjoyment, very high on styling. And the people that are in their second battery electric vehicles are doing a little bit better in these things because they have experience with how far it'll go, what the capabilities are, what it will do, and what it won't do, battery range, so on and so forth. Right now, you're probably looking at realistically 250 to 300 on most of these electric vehicles. Some of them are saying, well, we can get it up to 400, 500. The electric pickup trucks are coming. And the range satisfaction, they're saying, is the key purchase reason. As they improve the premium mass market segments, 86 and 87% of buyers, the first thing they're thinking about is, how far can I get in this car without having to charge, without having to, can I get here and there? Now, considering that the average commute is, 20 miles a day, one way, 40 back and forth, I don't know why people worry about that so much, but I understand it. You want to take the car on a long trip. You want a reliable vehicle that will get you back and forth. Quality is good. The only problem on these cars is the infotainment systems. They seem to really, for some reason, they can't get it right. It's very important on these cars because basically you're driving a big notebook computer. And if you can't get the the vehicles to work right from the control panel, I mean, that's going to sully your experience with that vehicle. And of course, you're going to blame it on the SUV, right? The electric vehicle, right? My gas car never did this. My internal combustion car never did this, when they probably did. All right, the overall customer satisfaction index ranking, Tesla Model 3 came in first. The Tesla Model Y came in second. The Tesla Model S came in third, and the Audi e-tron came in fourth among premium vehicles. Among mass market vehicles, number one was the Kia Niro EV. The Ford Mustang Mach-E was second. They were above average. The Nissan Leaf, the Hyundai Kona, the Volkswagen ID4, and the Chevrolet Bolt all came in below average, with the Nissan Leaf leading the pack of below average. The Bolt was in last place, and it's understandable because when you have a car that could catch on fire, people tend to be a little leery about that. So that's one of the things you have to take in. But a good survey by J.D. Power, you can find more about that if you go to J.D. Power's website, and they have tons of fantastic information about a vehicle. If you want to buy a vehicle, there's where you can go to do a lot of your research, because they survey people that have bought these vehicles. So it's not me telling you the vehicle is good. It's not, Brian Cooley, let's say, from CNET telling you the vehicle is good, although I would rely on our information. But we don't, part of the failing in our job, I guess, is that we don't tell you, for the most part, how these vehicles can fare down the road. We can tell you what we think potential problems might be, but we're looking at new vehicles that are, now every once in a while, we do a thing like this where we say, okay, these are the vehicles that are most reliable, these are the vehicles, but most of these things are done by these companies that study this kind of stuff, Consumer Reports has a huge. I mean, I would not buy a new car without picking up a Consumer Reports magazine and looking at their car ratings and seeing just exactly where they're going and what they say after a year of ownership or after 6 months of ownership, what the problems are. I wouldn't do it. I would totally rely on them to, or again, a JD Power experience study to understand what people, I mean, you can also go online. There's so many ways to research it these days. But I would definitely not just go buy a car without researching what the future reliability of that car is. The great thing is with electric vehicles, I think the reliability factor is going to be really good because there's less stuff to go wrong. I mean, you got a battery, you got wheels, unless a bearing breaks or something like that, or a cell goes dead, there's just less to go. You don't have generators and alternators, and you have less moving parts than an internal combustion engine. And you don't do oil changes. You don't do other maintenance that you have to do on an internal combustion engine vehicle. So, it lessens the factor, easier to maintain, easier to, the day-to-day operation. Probably more expensive when something goes wrong, though, I would think. All right, let's bring in our good friend and our producer and the man who makes this show work as well as it does under any conditions. Nathan, good morning.
Good morning, Vinny, and happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you too. How are you, Pally?
Doing excellent. A little bit of a hike this morning since the building's power is going maintenance, so I had to take the stairs up several floors, but happy to be here and already got my exercise for today.
Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, good thing I wasn't coming over. I never made it. I had done the show from the car.
There's a lot to climb, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not a good climber, pal. I mean, I'm a bit of my climbing days of going up 8 stories. Not that they're done, because you never know what the emergency is going to be, but good Lord, you really got to to move this thing up, this body up a flight of stairs is a project. So I'm very glad that you're young and spry and able to make it up quickly.
It's a good thing we have cars. It's just no cars can climb stairs yet.
Yeah, well, let's see. Well, you got some of those half tracks you can go up some stairs. You have
there you go.
A bunch of other different.
Maybe a Ford Bronco can take you up some.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Ford Bronco can go up. Some test I haven't seen anybody do yet. So that might be an interesting one to, get one of those building, the old style buildings with the big stairs that go up the front. See if you can just drive a Bronco up them. Could be a very interesting look, interesting ride, man. Let's see. Do you have a question that you wanted to ask me this morning?
Whoa, that was weird. Yo, Vinny, what are you driving this week? I've never heard that one before.
Was that the equivalent of a electronic burp?
Like I said, the power's out here. We might be having some weird glitches happening.
Yeah, blame it on the power. That's like everybody blaming everything on COVID these days. What happened? How come my package came? Oh, COVID, man. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, the thing's been sitting in the back of the guy's car for 3 weeks. All right. What am I driving this week? I'm driving a good one this week. I really enjoy this vehicle of the 2022 Kia K5 GT. Is a family design, designed by Kia to be a family sedan, but man, this thing is rocking. It's the GT line, so it really gives you that extra added the wheels and the bigger engine, and it puts you into almost 300 horsepower all-wheel drive vehicle. Now, it used to be the Kia Optima in years gone by. It's not going to, this is a car that's going to stand on its own. When you look at its competition, the Honda Accord rules this category, but the Kia K5 makes an interesting take a look at when you're going out to buy a Honda Accord. If you don't have that same money to spend, if you want something that's different than everybody else is driving. Well, and the K5, which, matches up with the Sonata, makes a pretty good deal, whether you're looking for GT line or not. I mean, these things start at $24,000. It's roomy inside. It sits on that same platform that the Sonata does. And you know how much I love the Sonata. So the GT, really the K5 GT, will spin the tires. We'll give you a little more oomph. Your son or daughter will want to drive it to Dick's to pick up a couple of hamburgers every Friday and Saturday night. It's impressive. It really is. And again, this is a car that if you want a family car, but yet you're a cars and coffee kind of guy, or woman, and you enjoy driving, this is a nice option. This is a very nice option for you. So I haven't taken it on a long trip yet. We're going to take it up to the test course this morning after the show and get a better feel of its driving dynamics. But I'm going to tell you right now, for the GT comes in around $32,000, somewhere in that range. Nice styling elements, different stuff, wireless charging on the interior, and all of the stuff that Kia is famous for, the LED headlights, the heated steering wheel, the panoramic sunroof, the 360-degree camera system, the folding exterior mirrors, the front parking sensors, all that stuff is there. But they also build in some excitement in this car. And it's a car that people look at, especially if you wind up going to, like a Cars and Coffee, or, a Dick's Drive-In on Friday or Saturday night. It's a car you can show off. So that's the Kia GT, K5 GT. It used to be the Optima, now it's the K5. Very exciting car. And I'm really excited to drive it. There you see the beauty shot of it. Great lines on this car, too. Look at that. Look at the way it looks like poetry in motion. All right, coming up, we got the cartoon for you. We will also spend some time talking about the auctions in Arizona, which are in full tilt boogie right now. So you can, I don't know, if you turn them on TV, you watch them and you go, oh my God, how much? I had one of those. I sold it for $50. I think it's the biggest line that we hear now when a guy buys a 64 Chevy Malibu SS for $85,000, and you go, oh, I had one of those in the garage. I sold it for $100 to Clemmy down the block. Clemmy, can I have my car back? All right, it's Drivetime Radio. I'm New York Vinnie, and this is 1150 KKNW.
If you're searching for that perfect gift for the college-bound kid in your life, the Car Care Council suggests putting together a Roadside Emergency Kit. An inexpensive roadside kit is easy to assemble and could be extremely useful, maybe even a lifesaver in the event of an emergency. Of course, it's always a good idea to be prepared for the unexpected while on the road, but the best option is to avoid breakdowns and car trouble wherever possible. Performing basic maintenance and observing a regular service schedule can help avoid unforeseen road emergencies. Roadside emergency items can fit into a small duffel bag or rubber storage tote and include the following: jumper cables, emergency flares, flashlight and batteries, blankets and extra clothes, non-perishable snacks and bottled water, first aid kit including essential medications, portable USB charger to keep the cell phone running even if the car isn't, ice scraper, snow brush, and small shovel for winter driving. And finally, keep a copy of the Car Care Guide available free of charge at carcare.org. Visit the Car Care Council's website to access a number of tips and resources for vehicle maintenance, including a free custom service schedule.
Get inspired every hour right here on Alternative Talk 1150.
Back with you on Drivetime Radio. I got lucky this week. I walked into a store. I'm a big root beer fan. I love root beer. Preferably, the old A&W that comes out of the tap, or the Stewart's root beer, those stands back in New Jersey. But the best diet root beer that I have found is the Dad's old-fashioned root beer. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll hold it up to the camera. I don't think so with our virtual background. But oh yeah, you can do it if I hold it back. Anyway, the Dad's root beer. I walked into, Big Lots. Buck a bottle, man. Big 33.8 fluid ounce bottle of Dad's root beer. And I think I bought 24 of them. At $1 a bottle, why not? Just in case they don't have it anymore. But I haven't seen it anywhere out here. It's an East Coast thing. But man, oh man, I saw it in that the Big Lots and had to grab some, and it's good, man. You take that and a little bit of vanilla diet sugar-free ice cream and put them in a big glass, and you got yourself a low-calorie root beer float. And believe you me, I need the low-calorie root beer floats these days. Anyway, back to business here. It's our Saturday morning cartoon. We do it every Saturday morning because cars and music go together so well. So we, come up with a tune that's either written about cars or trucks or motorcycles or whatever, and, something related to cars, and we play it for you. So you'll have a little bit of real entertainment in the show instead of just me. Anyway, a lot of controversy this week with Spotify. I don't know if you have Spotify on your phone, but a lot of controversy because Neil Young told Spotify that if you're going to run false information about COVID and shows that have false information about COVID, please take my music off of Spotify. I have the right to do that. And if you're going to do that, then you're not going to play my music. And Spotify said, well, we got a right to broadcast. We're not going to pull Joe Rogan off, which is the talk show, because they paid, I don't know, $100 million or some kind of astronomical figure to this guy who is, one of these conspiracy theory guys. But yet he's got a popular, there's a lot of people that listen to it, which is probably why our country makes you scratch your head these days. But anyway, so Neil said, take my music off, which I applaud him for. It's weird. I didn't know how I felt about it at first because I don't like censorship of any kind. But I do think that when you're hurting the public safety, that's a different story. Well, this morning, I guess I saw a note that said that Joni Mitchell is also now taking her music off of Spotify. She's telling her record, get my stuff off of Spotify. So it looks like Neil Young may have started a trend. I don't know how far they're going to get with it because there's a lot of people. I was talking to my buddy Michael yesterday, who I do the show with during the week. And, Michael said, listen, I got 19,000 songs in my Spotify list. I don't know. I'm not going to transfer them all over to Apple or some other thing. So I guess boycotting and protest only goes so far in this country. But be that as it may, I thought we'd honor Neil Young this morning by having the nerve to say, take my stuff off of Spotify. This is one from his early career that I've always loved. I love songs about motorcycles. So here is Neil Young's Motorcycle Mama. Neil Young and Motorcycle Mama. That is probably your prototypical 70s rock and roll. Would you say that, Nathan? If you were going to look for 70s rock and roll song, early to mid 70s rock and roll song, that's something that would come to mind right away?
Yeah, it's got like that kind of bluesy backbeat to it that those 70s rock songs were really traditionally, based upon.
Yeah. It's it just has you could almost look at listen to that and see people in bell bottoms and so on and so forth. It has that feeling to it, bell bottoms and flower child and incense and patchouli and eating rice out of a bowl with your fingers, all that kind of great 70s hippie stuff. Well, I don't know about eating rice out of a bowl with your fingers, but some people did. All right, Neil Young right there with that. And we appreciate Neil and Joni Mitchell and what they're doing to in their small way. I mean, I don't know if they suffer financially by taking, I read somewhere where Neil Young's wife said, or somebody said that their big check last year from Spotify was for like $3.28 in royalties. So, take from that what you will. So I don't know how much financially it's hurting, but it's a statement, and if it forces other people to think about it, well, you know what? Then it's a good thing. All right, the car auction season is in full tilt boogie in Arizona, and there are thousands of people gather. This is the place you want to be if you are into cars, especially collector cars, classic cars, and that whole scene where people buy these different cars, for astronomical prices. And Mecum is is one of the big ones. Barrett Jackson is another big one, maybe the biggest. This is out at Westworld in Scottsdale, Arizona. And if you've gone to spring training, know where Westworld is. And it's the Thursday, the top seller was a 2021 Ford Bronco 66 first edition model that went for $500,000. Now it was donated by Ford Motor Company to benefit the Pope Francis Center. So that was the high selling car on Thursday. Let's see, the 64 Ford GT40 Recreation came in third at a $225,500 sale price. And then you had a Shelby Cobra, 65 Shelby Cobra for $280K. So the money, for those who are saying that the economy is bad, well, I don't know. Look at what people are spending on these cars. You had a beautiful 58 Chevy Cameo pickup, one for $88,000. 66 Chevy C10 pickup, one for $89,000. 68 Chevy C10, one for $69,000. 79 GMC, one for $77,000. A 55 Nomad, $106,000, almost $107,000. At Barrett Jackson. And let's see, 70 Pontiac GTO, one for $99,000. 69 Camaro SS custom convertible, $110,000. I sold one for $300 to somebody back in probably about 1975 or something like that. No, a little later than that, 76. And one of my favorites, the Judge, the GTO, the Pontiac GTO, the 69 Pontiac GTO, $106,700. So the prices and the money is rolling down there. And as I said, you can check out these auctions. Meekum, I know, is online. You can look there. Barrett Jackson, I believe, is on cable, on one of the cable channels, so you can, or satellite channels, and you can check it out there. So you have, even if you're not buying, but if you're a car person and you ever get a chance to in your life, I totally suggest that you check, go down there, spend a little time, especially if you're thinking of going down maybe to spring training some year. You want to get out of the muck and mire that's the weather here. Go down to Arizona, spend a little time down there, and walk through these places. Get a ticket to go and walk through and see what some of these cars are going for. It's the world's greatest car show. I mean, it really is. I mean, you go through there and you just see pristine examples of vehicles that have been worked on. And you know what? You see some that aren't so hot, but yet you see the money that they're going for. And because people now, for many people, this is no longer a hobby, it's an investment. And they figure they're going to get rich off of these cars, which I kind of despise, but understand. If you can buy a car today for, I don't know, what these cars, what the top of the market is for these cars, but the telephone numbers they're throwing around for them are crazy. Even adjusted for inflation, still crazy. But it's a fun thing to watch. And again, if you're a car person, it's really fun because it takes you back to so many cars of the past. And it also shows you that car that you are saying to yourself, well, one day I want to get one of those, is attainable. If you got the money and you want that car, there are places that'll finance it for you, and you can go down there and bid on it. Some of the crazy people that go down there and bid are enjoyable to watch. I mean, sometimes the bidders are more of a show than the cars. But there's people who got a lot of money to collect these things and keep them in a garage. I think that's a shame. I think they're built to drive. I mean, if I go down and get a 70 Pontiac GTO Ram Air convertible, you can bet I'll be at Cars and Coffee or at Dick's or at several of the whatever car shows are around, driving that thing. If I'm going to spend that kind of money on that car, man, it's going to be on the road with me driving it. The people driving by and waving and going, cool car. That's your sign that, I've owned enough cool cars like that to know what the feeling is like. And it's really a great, you want something for your ego. You want something to make your heart feel good. Drive around in a car like that, man, people just like look and go, they're just, it's just a great feeling. And, the pride of ownership, of owning something like that, maybe you pass it down to your somebody in your family, your son. You go out with your son or your daughter on a Saturday afternoon and you ride them in that car and you go out to Triple X Root Beer or something and you hang out. It's a great thing. We're going to have to go out to Triple X when the car show season gets started and do a show from out there. Unfortunately, on Saturday morning, I don't think at 8:00 much is going on out there, but we'll go out one Sunday and go out and have some fun out there and talk to people about their cars. Just the one thing I didn't do last week that I wanted to do a little bit more of is talk to some people about their cars. So we'll be back at Shoreline and talk to people about their cars and give you an idea about the collector car hobby, which is really going strong here in Seattle and its environs. Lots of groups. There's a whole big group out in Kitsap County that I keep track of on Facebook. Plenty of groups on Facebook. Speaking about Facebook, you can always find us me personally at NY Vinnie Richichi, and you can always find Drive Time Radio and TV, and go there and like us. And all of these shows now, Mikey and me and everybody, they're all on YouTube. So you can dial up Golden V Media is what they're under. But you can just search Mikey and Vinny or Drive Time Radio and TV, and you will find them. And we do a lot of cool YouTube stuff, including we're back doing our fond farewell series, which is me saying goodbye to all these different cars. So a lot of good and fun stuff there. All right, time now for the road test.
The Drive Time Radio Road Test. Every week, Vinny puts another car through its paces and lets you know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right. Finally, I get to talk about this thing. I've been loving making. How do I explain this? This is the car I've waited for. This is the car that I've been advocating for. This is the car that I think is going to set the car business on its ear a little bit. I'm talking about the 2022 Ford Maverick. First of all, it's not a car. It's a pickup truck. But it is a pickup truck that has been wanted by people for the longest time. As a matter of fact, much as the Volkswagen was hailed as the people's car, that's what it's named. The Ford Maverick is the people's pickup truck. It shows that it takes you back to an era where pickup trucks weren't luxury cruisers. They didn't have a gazillion pieces of equipment in them that could go wrong. They were basic trucks. And you got in one, and you didn't have, the Maverick has power windows and all the safety equipment, but you got in a truck with your dad, and it was, it had a lot of trucks didn't even have radios in them, or maybe you had an AM radio and that was it. And it was a basic, padded dashboard and metal dashboard and a glove box, and it was comfortable, and it sit a little bit higher than maybe everything else on the road. And it had that 6-foot bed in the back and an 8-foot bed in the back. And you felt good when you were driving in that truck. For a lot of people, they couldn't wait till their fathers handed them down that truck as their first car. That's what they took their road test in. But trucks have grown, much like people in America have gotten fatter and more, a lot of stuff that they don't need. And so to get now people go out and they spend $80, $90, $100,000 on a huge pickup truck that they can't park in the city, that eats gas like a drunken sailor. So now you have Ford and Hyundai, which we did the Santa Cruz earlier in last year, and now you have Ford with the Maverick. Now the Ford looks and acts and tastes more like a pickup truck than the Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz is really an SUV with the back cut out and a pickup engine. But both of them accomplish the same thing. The Ford, though, takes it a step further with a $19,995 starting price. The Ford Maverick makes it attainable for almost everybody. Now, I'm not dumb enough to think that they're going to sell many at that price, but conceivably, when the initial rush to get these things is over and chips are flowing again and dealers aren't marking them up as they are, if you want to drive a pickup truck, you will be able to buy a small, solid, functional, good, minimalist pickup truck for under $30,000. And it's not a bare bones. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. From the outside, the thing that impressed me the most about it, I'm 5'8.5", and I was standing up and I could look over the roof of the truck. Now they've combined that with the ability to sit high inside the truck, which is a nice combination. It's very smartly styled. It looks like a Ford. It doesn't look as small as it is. It looks bigger than it is, but with a 4.5-foot bed, and 4 doors, it looks bigger, but it's nicely, very nicely proportioned. You get in it, and the first thing you notice is that it's not the luxurious leather-bound interior that looks like you're sitting on a couch while you're driving down the street. This thing has a couple of bucket seats in it, a dial for the automatic transmission in the middle, and some really not basic-looking plastic interior parts. The door panels look to be some kind of recycled plastic. There's neat little compartments for everything, from cell phone and so on and so forth to your glove compartment, a center console compartment. But there's a lot of cubbies in this thing, a lot of places to store. What's really cool is the door panels open up and there's places to store not 1 but 2 water bottles in the door. So they've tricked it out with a lot of different things. And I heard somebody complain about this. The rear window opens. It's got the sliding rear window, and this person was upset because it didn't have an automatic, a power sliding rear window. I mean, you can't get your fat butt out of the truck and push the window back. Come on, have we gotten that lazy in life that everything has to be push button? Maybe that's why I look the way I do. So as far as power and towing power with this thing, the particular one that I had was a 2-wheel drive. It was the XLT, and with the EcoBoost engine. It also comes in a hybrid. The EcoBoost 2.0-liter, 250 horsepower, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And with the front wheel drive, it handled great. It'll get the Maverick up to 60 miles per hour like that. Very confident feeling. The gas mileage on this thing, 2330 city highway when you have the front wheel drive. It's not as good as the hybrid, but for a pickup truck, it's good. The tailgate, another thing I love about this thing, you drop the tailgate, you don't need a ladder to get into the bed. You can actually reach into the bed. You can jump up and sit your butt on the bed. All things.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of KKNW, its management, or other.
I had to cut you off from the air broadcast, but you can finish up on Facebook here.
No problem. All things that are great. All things that are I think, exceptional pieces of the puzzle of this small truck. It'll tow 4,000 pounds, I think 4,500 if you get the EcoBoost. And again, Ford hit this one out of the park. The 4.5-inch bed will carry 1,500 pounds. It's small in this class, but there's an electric electric plug in the bed. There's lighting in the bed and they also set it up so you can add accessories to this thing easy. As a matter of fact, you can go online. They'll show you how to build your own accessories on this thing. And it is, I just think that it's a spectacular pickup truck that makes a pickup truck. Oh, by the way, one more thing. It doesn't have a push button start. You got to start it with a key. How cool is that? You actually have a key to stick in there and start it. I mean, the doors open up with the fob, but you have to put the key in and start it. It's like a real little pickup truck. Anyway, lots of options on this thing. It'll get you anywhere from $19,000 all the way up to close to 40 if you want to. So if you're looking for a truck, if you're looking for a pickup truck, and most people are going to be able to use this truck for almost anything they need. This truck will cover it all for you, I think. And with the several versions of it, with the XL, the XLT, the Lariat, with the the off-road packages, And I'm not big, I don't know that I would take this thing like very far off road, but we'll see what people do and how they work. It's people have been wanting a truck that doesn't cost them as much as their first house. People have been wanting a truck that offers pickup truck capability, drives well, is manageable, can park in a parking garage without scraping the roof or hearing the antenna bang, 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 bang off the rafters. And Ford has answered the call. Ford has come up with the people's pickup truck. And when you look at the price on this thing, again, it winds up, as I said, they start at $19,995. The one I tested, $27,045. Actually, with destination delivery, $28,540, and was nicely optioned. Had everything you want, including the XLT luxury package with the trailer hitch and everything else. So congratulations, Ford. You did a great job here. The Maverick, now, you can't get one right now. They've shut down production on them. They're going to build all that they can build right now in Philly orders, and then we'll see what happens after that. But if you are in the market for a manageable, well-equipped, well-built pickup truck, there's two options. You can go more luxurious and more expensive with the Hyundai Santa Cruz, which I love, or you can go with the Ford Maverick. And I love this Ford Maverick. I loved my week in it, and I suggest that you check it out yourself when they become available again. All right, that's going to wrap up Drive Time. Thank you so much for listening on Facebook, as well as right here on KKNW. I know we went a little long, but I wanted to extol the virtues of the Maverick. So thank you very much for listening and for watching. And we will catch up with you next week at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Have a good week and take care of yourself. Drive safely, will you? Take care. Bye-bye now.